June 1st, 2015 from the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas. It was WWE's Raw. Alright, so the main event was Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. And if you're watching this video, maybe check out the last one I was talking about with Bo Dallas and Neville. It's interesting that, that led into Bray Wyatt. I think eventually we're going to see that those two are actually together. But right here in this match, though, it was the third match that Roman Reigns had to fight in this gauntlet that the Authority was having him go through. Because first in the beginning of the show, Roman had come out and he was, representing Dean Ambrose. And so then the Authority was like, well, you're going to have to fight King Barrett right now for your Money in the Bank spot. And then after he beat King Barrett, they're like, well, that's not good enough. Now you got to face the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, still with the Money on the Bank spot on the line. He beat Mark Henry just barely by count out, and he had pinned, Barrett earlier. But so he beat Mark Henry, and then they're like, all right, well, that's not good enough. Now you got to face Bray Wyatt. And I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess it worked out and everything, but still, I don't know. Like, I don't think they really should have had Bray Wyatt in this position. I don't know why. Like, I think it's bad for Roman Reigns that they would put these two together in this match. I think it's bad booking. Like, they could have had anybody else but Bray. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, other than if they're trying to turn Roman into a heel. Like, why would you put him against Bray Wyatt here? Why is Bray Wyatt doing the bidding of the Authority? Other than, I guess it makes a little bit of sense that he just wants to be in that Money in the Bank match, and that's, like, his motivation, and he doesn't really care that the Authority, like, is manipulating him, because he's could, reason it that, I'm really manipulating them, because I'm making them give me what I want, and they think I'm giving them what they want, but what I want is just destruction anyway, so I don't have a problem with beating whoever they want me to beat. I'll beat them too, whatever. And that could be, where he's coming from. But the fans love Bray Wyatt. Like, Bray Wyatt's one of my favorite wrestlers on the roster. Probably is my favorite wrestler on the roster. And I actually like Roman Reigns. So why are you putting them against each other? And you can even see when Bray Wyatt was coming out there, like, everybody was lighting up the fireflies, lighting up the cell phones. Like, people love Bray Wyatt. He's basically the new Undertaker, like, in his presence and in his, acceptability with the fans. Like, people love him, and I love him the way. It's the same kind of feeling of, like, how you felt about the Undertaker, because he's a guy that, like, typically you're not supposed to cheer for necessarily. Like, you weren't supposed to cheer for the Undertaker, and even when he came out, he was a bad guy at first, but eventually he was so good that everybody loved the Undertaker. And it's the same way with Bray Wyatt. Even though he's not gotten to the point, obviously, that the Undertaker would get to, you know what I mean? And even when the Undertaker came in, he already had been, doing the same. But Bray Wyatt's got time under his belt too, and he's been around wrestling his entire life. At least, I mean, he's still, got time before. Obviously, he's gonna need a lot of time before he can get to the point where the Undertaker is now. But that's just a matter of time, really. All things, hopefully if they go the way they should. But it's just, that's what I'm saying. Like, why would you have them going against Roman Reigns, a guy that you're, like, you know what I mean? Like, unless you're going to turn Roman heel, and you know what I mean? Like, why are you, like, putting fans in a spot where they're, like, not knowing who to root for, and then, like, taking some fans away from cheering from Roman because I'm going to cheer for Bray. I would like to cheer for Roman Reigns, but I can't if he's going against Bray. So why is he going against Bray? That don't make sense. But anyway, so this is, like I said, the third match of the night. And so, they're mixing it up, going back and forth. Then I'm going to commercial. And then, they came back and everything. Bray Wyatt ended up doing a vicious DDT to Reigns on the ring apron. Then he nailed him with a body avalanche in the corner. But then when he went back to the well, Roman caught him with a clothesline because he went back to do it again. And so then Roman ended up, sending Wyatt into the ring post, and then he hit him with the DDT of his own. Reigns then ended up hitting him with a running clothesline in the corner, followed by multiple clotheslines. And then he ended up punching Bray Wyatt, and he went to the outside, and then he ended up hitting him with the missile dropkick outside the ring. And then he ended up, tossing him in the barricade. But then when he went back into the ring, Bray Wyatt took back control. Then he hit a big clothesline. Then he did a running senton. Wyatt started slapping Reigns, but Roman laughed. And then it was just like, okay. And then he ended up hitting him with a Samoan drop. And then he went for the Superman punch. But Bray Wyatt ended up reversing it into a side slam, which was pretty cool. And so then Bray, ended up doing the spider walk. And he was setting up for Sister Abigail. But then Reigns ended up rolling him up. But then Roman ended up going for the Superman punch, but then J&J ended up coming down, and Kane, and so then they were at ringside. Then Bray, he went to get Roman for Sister Abigail, like he had him locked in once they distracted him, but then Reigns ended up escaping, and then he ended up pushing Bray Wyatt into Kane, and then because Kane now was on the ring apron, and then Reigns hit him with the spear, and then it was 1, 2, 3, Roman Reigns wins, and it was like, what? Man, it's just like, it's alright, but it was really stupid. Like, I want to like it, but I can't, because this is stupid. Like, why? Like, oh my goodness. Bray Wyatt, how could he possibly get beat by Roman Reigns after Roman Reigns just went against King Barrett and Mark Henry? Not only that, after Mark Henry, like, he barely beat Mark Henry with the count out. And then Mark Henry gets him with the freaking world's strongest slam. And then he does the body splash to him. The world's biggest body splash. Roman's like dead at this point. And so now, like, a Roman Reigns has fought 2 fights already. Now he goes against Bray Wyatt. Well, I guess Bray Wyatt must suck. You know what I mean? Or like, Roman Reigns is just fucking out of this world. And the thing is, like, I want to root for Roman. But don't feed him like Bray Wyatt. Man, it's alright. Feed him King Barrett. And at least King Barrett was the first guy. So it's like, you know what I mean? You don't. They seem to have no problem just like having Barrett like job out, but and it's fine. And even Mark Henry, because it builds up Roman like hella big, just even to get that win over Mark Henry. And the way they did it, it was good. You know what I mean? Like, him to just barely get it with the count out and stuff, and then Mark Henry actually got some action in on him after the match, so that worked out pretty nice. But then right here, it's not like, if anything, J&J and Kane should have kind of like caught Bray. They should have cost Bray the match or something. Like, somebody should have cost Bray the match. Roman shouldn't have like actually beat him despite J&J and Kane. And then, I guess he pushed him into Kane or whatever, but, like, I don't know, that's not really, that doesn't warrant, like, that whole thing, because he was the one who was supposed to be distracted. Like, I don't know why they would do that. Like, why can't, they should have even just had Kane be the third guy, or why can't Triple H just be the third guy? There you go. Or even Seth. And then have him, I don't know. I guess Seth, you don't want to do that, but, Bray Wyatt, like, why? And I like Bray, and I want to see Bray, and I like to see him in the main event of Raw, you know what I mean? That's cool. Except then to have him, like, come out looking so bad. Like, and then, the only way that makes sense to me, I guess, it'll work out in the long run. And if you look at it like, well, this right here could be the catalyst for him getting back, with Harper and Rowan, and then getting with Bo Dallas, you know what I mean? Because they'll be like, oh, Bray Wyatt, he keeps losing without the fam, so now he got to reunite the Wyatt family. So I guess that makes sense in that aspect, and so maybe that's what it is. But it seems like it's really just a matter of, like, for whatever reason, they don't even care who they leave in the wake of building up Roman, I guess. I don't know. Which is, again, like, I want to root for Roman, and then it's, why do they make the booking make you not like him? Like, are they trying to make people not like him? Is that what they're doing? Is it because they want him to be a heel for some reason? Which, I guess would fit into the whole thing with Dean. Which that's, what ended up happening, actually, too, after that, is once the match ended up ending, and J&J and Kane and Seth they ended up teaming up on Reigns, so they're all beating on him. And then, oh, here comes Dean Ambrose. And so now, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, they're fighting the Authority without, Triple H and Stephanie are conspicuously not there, like always. And so then, Reigns ended up Superman punching Kane and spearing Noble. Ambrose took care of Mercury, and then he did the dirty deeds to Rollins. And so then they just went out there like, yeah. It was like, I don't know. Like, I really couldn't care less about that. I don't care about Ambrose like I used to, but they ruined him. And, you know what I mean? Once he's ruined, that's just it. It's like spoiled milk. You can't bring back spoiled milk. Maybe you turn into blue cheese. But, yeah, I don't really care about Ambrose, so, And, I mean, I would rather have it be Reigns versus Rollins at Money in the Bank. Like, Ambrose and Rollins, I don't really care. It's going to be a ladder match, so I guess that's cool or whatever. But still, like, I could really care less. Like, Ambrose just sucks. He's, like, so fake. Like, it makes me mad at myself that I even liked him at all and didn't realize sooner how fake he was. And it was like, when all the signs are right in front of my face. And that's how I feel like everybody who's cheering him, they're eventually going to be like, damn, why did we ever cheer this fake-ass dude? Like, it almost makes me want to just put up the picture right now of him in the pink tights and the freaking long hair, looking like a Sally. But anyway. So, overall, though, I thought Raw was pretty good, even though the end, was kind of stupid, but I didn't think that ruined the show overall. Like I said, overall I thought it was a pretty good show. It had some good moments. And I actually did think the whole gauntlet thing was straight until they said Bray Wyatt was the third guy. Then I was just like, wow, that's, all that work just to fucking lay a big turd on the main event. Like, why? But let me know what you thought about the main event, what you thought about Raw as a whole, what you think about Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Either way, share your thoughts and opinions. This is my opinion, so share your opinions in the comments section. That's what the comments section is there for. And like I said, whether you agree or disagree, I respect your opinion. Because really, wrestling is an art, and art is subjective. So beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And so whatever you see and whatever you like, that's right. Whether I agree or disagree, it's right for you. So share your opinion. Feel free to do so. Thank you very much for listening. It is appreciated.